I found the folder by accident. Not because I was snooping. Not this time. I just needed his laptop to send a file for work, and he'd left it open, carelessly, like he always did. But what stopped me cold wasn't the background of us smiling in Paris or the cute folder labeled bills. It was the one named for the boys. I clicked it. Of course I clicked it. And there they were. Photos of me. Not just the ones I'd sent him, the playful ones, the private ones I only trusted him with, but screenshots from my bathroom mirror, saved snaps I didn't even know he took. All of me. Naked. Spread. Smiling. Trusting. Dozens. Organized by date. Some with file names. One was labeled Jake's fave. Jake. His best friend. My breath caught in my throat. My chest started to throb like someone had punched through my ribs. And then it hit me, this wasn't just betrayal. This was humiliation. Distributed. And I hadn't even begun to understand the full extent of it. Because he hadn't just shared them. He'd sold them. Before I tell you what happened next, make sure you're alone, this story is going to hurt. The first time I sent him a picture, I hesitated for almost an hour. It wasn't even that revealing, just my bare shoulders, a bite of my lip, the kind of thing you send when you're testing the waters, wondering if this is a guy you can trust. And he replied immediately. God, you're perfect. This is just for me, right? That just for me, it made me feel safe. Like I was something precious. Like I could give him everything and it wouldn't be used against me. I wanted to believe that so badly. His name was Tyler. He had that soft, boy-next-door face, the kind of guy who could charm your mom and still whisper filth in your ear at night. He knew exactly when to be sweet and when to be dominant. I was 22, out of a toxic situationship, vulnerable and craving validation. And he knew it. He studied photography at college, so when he asked to take artistic shots of me a few months in, I said yes. I told myself it was love. That he saw me as a muse, not a commodity. I'd lay on the bed, wrap myself in white sheets, and let him click away. He'd smile and tell me I looked like a goddess. I felt worshipped. What I didn't realize then was that worship and ownership feel very similar when you're desperate to be adored. The signs were there, of course. He was weirdly possessive about his phone. He'd joke that his boys were always asking if I had hotter friends. Sometimes he'd show me memes they sent, borderline creepy stuff, and laugh it off like boys being boys. I ignored the way he watched their reactions when I'd show up in a dress. The way his eyes flicked between me and them, like he was waiting for their approval. But the first real red flag came on a Friday night. We were hosting a small get-together. Tyler had invited his two best friends, Jake and Mason. I caught Jake staring at me more than once. Not just glancing. Staring. I mentioned it to Tyler later, half joking, and instead of being protective or offended, he just smirked and said, "Can you blame him? Look at you." It was supposed to be a compliment, but it felt off. Like I was being served on a platter. A few days later, I noticed Tyler was more affectionate than usual. Flowers, takeout, slow kisses while I cooked. I thought maybe he was making up for something. Or maybe he was just falling deeper for me. So when he asked if I'd do a special set of photos, just for him, I said yes. That shoot felt different. He had me pose in ways I wasn't entirely comfortable with. Told me to hold still while he took close-ups. I asked if he was actually keeping them private, and he got defensive. Said I was ruining the vibe. Said I always did this, got in my head when things were finally going well. So I shut up. Smiled. Posed. Let him shoot whatever he wanted. Weeks passed. Life kept moving. He stayed sweet, mostly. Until he didn't. I started to notice things, the way his friends would laugh when I walked by, like there was an inside joke I wasn't in on. The way Mason once whispered something to Jake when I bent over to grab a drink. And Jake? He started liking old photos of mine on Instagram. Ones from before I even met Tyler. It gave me that sick, sinking feeling, like I was being watched from the shadows. I asked Tyler directly one night. I laughed it off, tried to keep it casual, but I asked, "Did you ever show them those photos of me?" His eyes narrowed, just slightly. Then he laughed. "What the hell kind of question is that? What kind of guy do you think I am?" I wanted to believe him. God, I needed to believe him. Because if he lied, if he could do something like that and look me in the eye, then the entire relationship was built on rot. But something inside me stayed restless. And then, one afternoon, he left his laptop open. For real, just lying there on the bed, screen up, humming softly. I wasn't even trying to check anything. Just wanted to email a document to myself. But curiosity is a funny thing. It doesn't need an invitation, just an open door. And that folder was the door. A folder he thought I'd never be curious enough to click. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. Not yet. I just stared. File after file. My body, catalogued. My expressions, frozen. My skin, exposed. And that's when I saw the Venmo screenshot. A message, "Bro, worth every cent." And Tyler's reply, "Told you she was next level." That's when my hands started to shake. That's when my mouth went dry. Because this wasn't just sharing. This was business. And I was the product. When he walked in, I was still sitting there. His laptop in front of me. The folder still open. The evidence glowing on the screen like some grotesque altar to everything I had been too blind to see. My hands were clenched in my lap. I didn't even look up. "Hey babe," he said casually, dropping his keys on the counter. "You look like you saw a ghost." I didn't speak. I didn't have to. Because as soon as he looked at the screen, his entire face shifted, not to guilt, not to panic, but to calculation. I could see the wheels turning behind his eyes. Damage control. Not apology. Never that. "Okay," he said slowly, walking over. "You weren't supposed to see that." "I wasn't supposed to see that." "Not I'm sorry." "Not what you saw isn't what you think." Just confirmation. I stood up. My legs felt like water. "You sold them?" His jaw clenched. "It was just a joke." "Jesus, can you calm down for a second?" "A joke?" My voice cracked. "A joke? There are pictures of me in there, my body, labeled for your friends like I'm some F*** king porn collection." He sighed, like I was being unreasonable. "It's not like that." "Then what is it like, Tyler? Enlighten me." He ran a hand through his hair, starting to pace. They kept asking. Jake was begging to see what I was working with. I didn't sell anything, I sent one or two. And yeah, he offered to buy more, but it wasn't serious. It was just guys messing around. He said it like I should laugh. Like I should be flattered. I wanted to punch him. I wanted to scream. But I couldn't even cry. The betrayal sat too deep, like it had settled in my bones. "You let them own me," I whispered. He froze. That got to him. "No. No, I didn't. You're mine. Don't you dare, I snapped. Don't you dare call me that. I'm not yours. Not after this. He reached for me. You don't get it. You don't know how guys talk, how they. I don't care how guys talk. I shoved his arm away. You told me I was safe with you. You told me those photos were just for you. And then you turned me into some disgusting little game for your friends to jerk off to. His face darkened. You're being dramatic. Then let's make it real, I said. I grabbed his phone. Opened his Venmo. Screenshotted every transaction that mentioned my name. Every emoji. Every vile message. I'm keeping these. His eyes widened. You're not seriously gonna? What? Go to the police? Tell your mom? Email your university with the evidence of how their golden boy treats women? You'd ruin me. Good. That's when the mask finally cracked. All the charm, the sweet talk, the fake concern had gone. He stepped closer, voice low. You think you're innocent in this? You posed. You sent them. You wanted the attention. I flinched. I trusted you. And you're not the first girl to regret it after. There it was. The confession. The venom. The truth of who he was. I walked out that night. No shoes. Just my phone, my bag, and a stomach full of acid. I called a friend. Slept on her couch. Blocked him on everything. But blocking him didn't stop the nightmares. Didn't stop the texts I started getting from unknown numbers. Crude messages. Screenshots. People asking how much for more. I was being passed around. I went to the police. They said unless I could prove he'd leaked them himself, there wasn't much they could do. I went to a lawyer, she told me the same thing. That sharing private content without consent was illegal in theory, but hard to prosecute without a smoking gun. So I found the gun myself. I created a fake account. Messaged Jake. Hey. Tyler said you liked what you saw. Want more? He responded within 5 minutes. Depends how much. I screenshot everything. Sent it to the lawyer. She said it was something, not airtight, but enough to threaten him with. I sent Tyler one final message. You have 24 hours to delete every file, every backup, and prove it. Or I go nuclear. He didn't respond. But the next day, Jake blocked me. So did Mason. And Tyler? He disappeared off every platform. That should have been the end. It wasn't. A few weeks later, I got a message from a burner account. Just 2 words. You're famous. I opened the link. It was a forum. Dozens of posts. Hundreds of comments. Pictures of me, blurred and cropped and watermarked. With a username that traced back to Tyler's old Reddit handle. He didn't just share them. He uploaded them. There's a special kind of horror when your body stops feeling like your own. When every inch of your skin feels like it's being watched, consumed, rated, commented on by strangers who think they know you because they've seen parts of you no one was supposed to. That's what Tyler reduced me to. Not a woman. Not even a person. Just content. The forum was disgusting. Thread after thread with titles like Tyler's GF is backfire or anyone got the mirror set? They weren't just viewing me, they were trading me. Sharing links. Making memes. Comparing angles. The same body I once offered in intimacy now existed as digital currency among basement boys and faceless predators. Some posts had over 1,000 likes. Some had comments guessing my location, my ethnicity, even mocking my naive little smile. They talked about me like I was some exhibitionist nymph, like I wanted this. I sat on the floor of my bathroom, staring at my phone in disbelief, one hand gripping my mouth to stop from sobbing so loud the neighbors would hear. The girl I used to be, the one who wore lacy things under big sweaters, who felt sexy in secret, who smiled into his camera because she felt beautiful, she was gone. Erased. Replaced by a girl who flinched at her reflection. My lawyer told me we could file a DMCA takedown, try to get the content removed, but it would be like a game of whack-a-mole. One site goes down, 5 more pop up. Once it's out there, it's out forever. That sentence echoed in my head like a curse. Out forever. I quit my job. Couldn't face people. Couldn't sit in a room without wondering if they had seen me too. My world shrunk down to a 1-bedroom apartment, blackout curtains, and panic attacks every time my phone buzzed. I deleted all my socials. Changed my number. But it didn't stop. Because they knew my name. Somehow, somewhere, Tyler or his friends had dropped my full name in a thread. The posts got even more vicious. Men started sending messages to my family. My mom called me crying. My younger cousin said someone from school had shown him a picture and asked if we were related. I wanted to disappear. And Tyler? Still silent. No apology. No message. Nothing. Just digital ash where he once existed. And yet I felt him everywhere, in the shame, the rage, the betrayal that curled in my gut like a parasite. I started writing everything down. Every username, every message, every platform. I found a woman on Reddit who ran a survivors forum for revenge porn victims. She connected me with a digital forensics expert. Together, we traced IPs, found aliases, pulled threads. And then we found it, a mega folder link. Hidden in a subthread. Thousands of downloads. Dozens of girls. Not just me. Tyler wasn't a boyfriend who slipped up. He was a predator running a ring. Some files were labeled with initials and ages. Some with locations. One folder had timestamps and a Google Drive trail, and guess what? It was tied to an email I recognized. One Tyler used back in school, the one he once used to send me our anniversary video. I froze. That email was the thread I needed. Because now I had intent. We went to the police. This time, they listened. The forensics expert backed me. We gave them everything, names, files, accounts, aliases. An investigation opened. A detective told me it was one of the most organized amateur networks they'd seen run by someone under 30. Tyler was smart. Careful. But not perfect. The morning of the raid, I watched from across the street in an unmarked car as they knocked on his apartment door. He answered in boxers, groggy. Clueless. And then, handcuffs. He looked up, right at me. I'll never forget his face when he realized what I'd done. Pure disbelief. Like I owed him silence. Like I was the traitor. He got arrested for digital distribution of explicit content without consent, online harassment, and several counts of cyber exploitation. The charges were serious enough to stick, especially with the other girls coming forward. Because yes, there were others. So many others. But here's the sick part. Even with all that happening, the content never vanished. It kept spreading. People screen recorded everything. Someone even made a fan page. Every time I thought it was over, someone sent me a link. Every time I posted anything new online, even a profile picture, someone commented found her. The internet doesn't forget. It feeds. One night, I finally broke. Threw my phone in the bathtub. Smashed my laptop. Sat on the kitchen floor sobbing until sunrise. That's when I knew I had two options: let them erase me, or reclaim what was stolen. So I went public. Posted my story anonymously at first. Shared screenshots. The betrayal. The pain. The truth. The post went viral. Thousands of women commented. Some knew Tyler. Some had their own Tylers. The rage, the solidarity, it poured in. And for the first time in months, I didn't feel like a victim. I felt like a weapon. Going public was the most terrifying thing I've ever done, but also the most freeing. For months, I'd been shrinking. Hiding. Letting shame wrap around my throat like barbed wire. But the moment I hit post, I ripped it all away. I named what happened. I named him, and I didn't flinch. The post blew up. Not just thousands of shares, but national attention. News outlets picked it up. Podcasts invited me to speak. Activists rallied behind me. I stayed anonymous at first, blurring my face in interviews, using a pseudonym. But the day I went on camera, full face, full voice, full truth, something inside me clicked. He didn't destroy me. He forged something new. More women came forward. Not just girls Tyler exploited, but women across the country, thousands, whose private photos were shared without consent. Some were leaked by exes. Some by strangers. Some were still minors when it happened. Their pain echoed mine. I wasn't alone. I was part of an army. I launched a foundation. We called it Flare, Fight Leaks, and Reclaim Everything. We offered legal resources, takedown help, therapy connections, and community. We lobbied for new legislation. We helped pass one of the toughest revenge porn laws in the state. I stood in front of the Capitol building with tears in my eyes as the governor signed it. And Tyler? He was convicted. 3 years. Could have been more if more victims testified, but most were too afraid. I didn't blame them. The courtroom was hell. He sat there in a suit, no remorse. Still smirking like he was untouchable. But the day he was sentenced, that smirk cracked. He looked at me like he still couldn't believe it. That I, the girl who used to cry in his hoodie, who used to send him heart emojis at 2 a.m., had been the one to burn it all down. He mouthed something as they took him away. You ruined me. No, Tyler. You did that to yourself. The thing no one tells you about justice is that it's never complete. His sentence didn't undo what he did. The pictures are still out there. The comments still live in corners of the internet I'll never reach. Some days, I still wake up sweating, afraid a new link will appear. Some nights, I still avoid mirrors. But I'm not her anymore, the girl who giggled into a lens for love. I'm the girl who dragged a monster into the light. People say I'm brave. That I turned pain into purpose. But honestly? Some days I'm just tired. Healing isn't poetic, it's exhausting. It's 1 step forward, 5 steps back. But I keep walking. Because somewhere out there is another girl, fresh in her first real relationship, texting cute selfies, wondering if she can trust the boy who calls her baby. She deserves a world where she never has to wonder if her image will be used against her. So I keep speaking. I keep fighting. Because I wasn't just a victim. I was the reckoning. And I always will be.